Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome back to the second part of this lesson, lesson number 10, Industrial Processes, my dear and esteemed students. Let's begin with reading the previous lesson or text we read in the previous lesson to remind you of this topic. Number C, complete the description with the verbs in the word books. Write them in the present passive form. Here we have to put is or are, and then these verbs in past participle form. Let's do it first. The extraction for iron from iron ore in the blast furnace. Iron is extracted from its ore in a blast furnace. The inside of a blast furnace is lined with bricks so that very high temperatures can be maintained. Iron ore is mixed with coke and limestone. The mixture is put into the top of the blast furnace. Air is heated in stoves until it's extremely hot. Then it's forced under high pressure into the blast furnace where it reacts with the coke, iron ore and limestones. Carbon monoxide is produced during the reaction, which helps to heat the furnace. Molten iron is removed from the bottom of the furnace through a tap. Another tap removes the waste, which is called slag. If you remember this text, my students, we read it and we did and filled in the spaces with the proper words. So let's continue our lesson by doing another example or exercise. Exercise number D. Read these equations. They show some of the reactions that take place inside the blast furnace. They show some of the reactions that take place inside the blast furnace. In your notebook, write a paragraph describing these reactions. On the right, we have C plus O2 results. CO2. CO2 plus C comes 2 atoms of CO. Fe2O3 plus 3CO, then it results 2Fe plus 3CO2. Here we have a model paragraph. When iron ore is heated with coke and limestone in a blast furnace, a number of reactions take place. Carbon combines with oxygen. Carbon combines with oxygen to produce carbon dioxide. So the first thing, carbon combines with oxygen to produce carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide then reacts with carbon and carbon monoxide is produced. Carbon monoxide is produced. Yes. Then carbon monoxide is produced. Iron oxide then reacts with the carbon monoxide and iron and carbon dioxide are formed. Finally, we have iron oxide then reacts with the carbon monoxide and iron and carbon dioxide are formed. Now let's move to our workbook, page number 52, to do some exercises. Exercise number A. What are the opposite of the adjectives in the books? Complete the table with the adjectives in the correct column. There are 3 of each type. In the books we have pure, metallic, scientific, frequent, reliable, perfect, resistant, effective, possible, protected, accurate, renewable. And here we have 4 columns. The first one begins with M, then un, after that in, then none. Let's complete the 4 columns with the proper adjectives. Here are the answers. Under the title of M, I mean the adjectives begin with M, we have impure, impossible, imperfect, impure, impossible, and imperfect. And under the title of an, adjectives, I mean the adjectives which begin with or start with an, unscientific, unreliable, and unprotected, unprotected. What about the adjectives with which begin with in? Infrequent, ineffective, and inaccurate, inaccurate. The last group or category, none, non-resistant, non-metallic, and non-renewable. Non-renewable. Then let's go to practice number B. Complete the sentences with adjectives from the table in exercise number A. When iron ore is an, we have space, form of the metal iron. 2. Coal is an example of a space resource. Then 3. The readings were space, and so the experiment had to be repeated. Number 4. It's space to predict what will happen to the spread of malaria in the future. Number 5. Perhaps drugs such as chloroquine will become completely against malaria. Number 6. Mona suffered bad burns because her hands were space when carrying out the experiment. Number 7. Carbon, nitrogen, and oxygen are all examples of space elements. And number 8. Yellow or brown diamonds are considered to be space and less valuable than white diamonds. You can think of these spaces, my students, and after thinking we can see the answers. So the first space is impure. Why? Because the sentence says iron ore is an impure form of the metal iron. 2. Coal is an example of an unrenewable resource. Coal is an example of a non-renewable resource. 3. The readings were inaccurate, and so the experiment had to be repeated. 4. It's impossible to predict what will happen to the spread of malaria in the future. 5. Perhaps drugs such as chloroquine will become completely ineffective against malaria. Number 6. Mona suffered from burns because her hands were unprotected when carrying out the experiment. Number 7, carbon, nitrogen, and oxygen are all examples of non-metallic elements. And finally, number 8, yellow or brown diamonds are considered to be imperfect and less valuable than white diamond. After doing this practice number B, my very valuable students, we can conclude this lesson. Thank you very much and goodbye.